Hi, I'm Terry Ammerman with the Terry Ammerman Group. I am an expert in communications and I work with executives and managers all over the world, teaching them how to be better communicators. I've traveled everywhere from Saudi Arabia to Iceland doing this training, and now I'm bringing it to the online community, specifically female influencers and young women who are in the beginning of their careers. And I'm very excited to share a topic with you today that has come up not only with young people, but honestly with people throughout the training that I've done, people who are way high up in their careers. And this topic is, how do you speak with confidence to someone who is in a much higher position of authority than you are? So let me start with the fact that I had to really learn how to do this. Again, I work with a lot of high-level executives, people who are in the very highest position, the CEO, the CFO, the COO of billion-dollar organizations. So how do I walk in with confidence and act like I know what I'm talking about? I think the most important thing to remember is that perhaps this person you're speaking to is on a different level than you, but you know your stuff and you have a message to deliver. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. My colleague and I were in Saudi Arabia last January, and we worked with some very high-level officials on that trip. And I had not been to Saudi Arabia before, but I had worked with Middle Eastern men before. And I will tell you that the very first time I did, I was working with a high-level executive. I was a little bit nervous, but within about 10 or 15 minutes, I was completely at ease. He was warm, he was genuine, he was willing to learn. So when we were in Saudi Arabia, I had to remind myself that these are people who are warm and genuine and willing to learn, and they were. So I reminded myself also that they wouldn't have brought us all the way to Saudi Arabia to work with them if they didn't want to learn and if they didn't value the expertise that I bring to the table. So rather than focusing on their position versus my position, I focused on the expertise that I have that they need to learn from me. This comes up a lot with people I work with who have moved into a position where they are what's referred to as board facing. So what that means is they've moved up to a director or a vice president position, and now they're going in to speak to the board of directors. And there's a sense of, definitely a sense of authority with the board of directors, but also the people I work with are slightly nervous. They've not done this before. They're afraid they're going to get questions they don't know answers to. Their biggest fear, and frankly, everyone's biggest fear when presenting or talking to an executive is that they're going to look foolish and look like they don't know what they're talking about. So first and foremost, I would say, understand that you actually may get questions that you don't know the answer to. And all you have to do is be prepared to say something like, I don't really have the specific answer to that, but I can certainly get back to you on that. Or, I don't know the specific answer to that, but here's what I do know. And then go to something that's closely related. Here's the thing that's important, is you have an area of expertise that the executive needs to hear about. that the board needs to hear about, or whoever is requesting your presence in this particular meeting needs to hear about. And so to gain your confidence, eliminate the things that make him or her seem way, way above you in authority or money or anything else. And that was one of the things I needed to get over, is that many of these executives, these CEOs make millions of dollars. But that is not, that's not something that needs to separate us at all. These folks need to hear from us, and they need to hear us confidently deliver our area of expertise. So to do that, remind yourself, again, everything I teach is a mind game first. Remind yourself that you have something important to deliver. Focus on what this person needs to hear from you. And here's what I learned over and over and over again. They don't need to hear all the details of the project you're working on or what you're there to share. One of the things I hear most often from our executives is, I don't want this to be too long or lengthy. I don't want the presenter to get into the weeds. And to get in the weeds really means that the executive, the board member, or whomever has asked you what time it is, and you start telling them how to build a watch. That's not what they want. They want clean, clear, concise information in an easy to understand way. So for you to do that effectively, you want to let this person has so much more money than me, has so much of a higher position, you need to let that go and focus on the fact that you have an important message to deliver, and they need to hear that from you. The other thing you can do, and this is something we teach in our presentations training, is go big. And what I mean by that is, if you really feel nervous before you're walking in the room, and let me make sure I tell you before you walk in the room, is you make your arms go big and then put them on your hips. Do this in the restroom, do this outside the door if no one's standing there. What it does, believe it or not, is it actually sends a hormone, cortisol, into your system, and it makes you feel more confident. So I'm looking to make sure I've covered everything here. The confidence game is played before you walk in the room. It's played when you tell yourself that you are fully capable of presenting this information to this person, regardless of his or her status, and that you have important information to share. And then as you're preparing the information, make sure that you have done it in a way that's forthright, I say clear, concise, compelling, and you are highlighting the information that this person needs to get from you. Hope that helps you. If you have questions, please leave them below. I'm going to work to answer your questions in other emails. And also keep in mind that if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below. And also email me at terry@ammermantraining.com to find out more about my online coaching program. I have an online coaching program that's private that we can do on Zoom that I've done with many of my clients, and it's going to be very, very helpful if you're trying to build that communication confidence in either your online community or in your career. Have a great day. Bye-bye.